What is up, everybody? Welcome to BR NFL Training Camp Live. We're here outside of Atlanta Falcons practice. Mike Golic Jr., joined by a man that Falcons fans know very well, John Abraham, hanging out with us here today. Franchise all-time sack leader, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, future Gold Jacket, if I can just insert my commentary in there. John, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. You know, the ride up was kind of iffy. You know, the rain kind of messed up our whole little scene. We thought we were going to have a little crowd behind us, little thing, but at least we got free water for the cups.
Exactly. We got free water. We got towels. We got a little bit of rain out here, but hadn't stopped us. The practice went on inside. We'll get to some of the players coming out here in a little bit. Rain or shine, we want to hear from the chat as always. Thank you to everyone that's already popping in here. I see Henry Richens, Marshall Peters, everyone fired up to see. I'm sure you out here, obviously, you know, I'm just along for the ride on this, but excited to dip back into this. You know, for you, you mentioned driving out here, seeing the rain, just in general, driving back out, watching this team get ready in the preseason. What's this like sort of reliving? You and I were talking about before some of your great moments as a Falcon in this uniform.
I think the biggest thing for me, I wanted the crowd to be here. You know, I think when I seen the rain, I was kind of pissed off. I was like, oh, man, I want to, like, connect with the crowd. I want to see how they scream. I want to see the 27 jerseys. I want to see the new 11 jerseys. I stated before it's kind of hard for me to see somebody else wearing number 11. But, you know, at the same time as I think they gave it to somebody that can prove that is worthy of wearing it. But definitely driving up here, like thinking about when I was in New York, thinking about coming here now. And I only live 5 minutes away from here. I used to live at Lake Lanier, so I used to live at this facility. Like, this was my place, man. So just being right here, being around the grass, being around, like, all the guys and, you know, seeing how, like, there's a new hospital right here now. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, why don't you want to come to work? like, I would love to come to work here.
And that's, I think, the hope here right now. These guys, in a lot of ways, and this has sort of been a theme as we've gone around and done these training camp shows, camp a little different now than it used to be back in the day for you guys in terms of the amount of practices, the amount of hitting that's going on. I'm sure you feel like this is another 3-4 years on your career if training camp looks like this as opposed to what you guys had back in the day.
So I did 15 years, and I remember my last year was 2013, 2014, and I remember hearing the younger guys talking about, oh, I'm tired. I had Tyrann Matthews. It's crazy. He just retired, so that's how old I am. He just retired, but I remember he was in practice one day. He was talking about how tired he was. I said, man, imagine doing 2 of days with pads, shells, and shells is nothing but pads. That's what people don't understand.
Right.
Like back in the day, they used to say shells. So like how they live now. But I think the great thing about this, you get to see players that you fell in love with playing longer careers.
Yep.
So you, instead of this 10-year career, you can see your player now play for 15, 16, 17. Look, you got quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is going into 20 years, and it's just stuff like that you love to see about football, man.
100%. It's great to see the longevity for some of those big names in the game. One of which here, Turner Markwalter in the chat wanted to ask, how was it sacking Drew Brees in your career? How much fun was that?
I would do it right now if I could. I don't understand. Like, people don't understand. I would come out of retirement now for free $99. Like, if they gave me like I guess when I went to college, they gave you room and board. You give me room and board, y'all got me for a week.
All right, there we go. Ruben, you know what? Honestly, based on the offseason the Falcons have had, bringing in a bunch of new faces on defense, maybe we can get you.
Maybe I could.
Right now.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Let's look at this year's team that could potentially have John Abraham for room and board if they want.
Take it.
That's had a really banner offseason. Raheem Morris coming in here his second year, and they went out, especially on defense, and brought in a lot of new faces here. You signed Leonard Floyd on the edge. You signed Divine Diablo. You go and extend a couple of guys up front on the offensive line. You draft Jalen Walker, James Pierce, to try and bolster a defense, especially in that front seven that they really want to see get after the quarterback in the way that you did back in the day. And you and I have talked about this. You live out here. You know what Falcons fans are always talking about, this pass rush. But this is another example. The lack of production at times at that position has not been because of lack of effort by the franchise in trying to go out and bring in great pass rushers over the years.
Yeah, I think we talked about it before. They don't understand the last 10 years we had 4 first-round picks that they try to get at edge. You know, starting with Vic Beasley in 2015, then you go a couple years later, you get Tack McKinley. Those guys just didn't make it. And you gotta understand, if you're a team trying to build a great team, think about it, we wouldn't have had Drake London if we kept going for defensive ends. We wouldn't have had, Lindstrom. We wouldn't have had these guys that are the pinnacles of the offense and the defense now and the teams. This year we got 2 edges, and we're hoping these guys are going to be amazing. Watching 27, watching James Pierce, how he's just been crazy this year, and he hasn't even played yet. but we hear so much about him. But you got to understand, he's like a new kid. You know what I mean? Like, he's coming in here. First of all, he felt like he should have been drafted where Jalen was drafted.
Sure.
So it's a lot of things that people don't understand when you're coming in. He got older guys that he tried to prove himself to, so he's not going to back down. If you're taught that way, that's the old school thing. Like, whenever you came in as a rookie, I remember I came in rookie, there was a guy named Jumbo Elliott. Jumbo tried to kill me every day at practice. But until I started, giving him a little bit of something, a little effort back in here, that's when he started getting respect from me. And then by the end of the season, it was kind of like he's one of our leaders. He's not just a young guy trying to, create turmoil.
Sure, coming in and proving yourself, not only in the way that you work, but going out there and giving it back on the field when you're challenged by those guys, I think goes a long way. And what you've heard so far, in particular about James Pierce, has been just that. This guy's not backing down from anybody. Now, he's part of a trio with him, Jalen Walker, who's missed some time with the hamstring early in camp, but came back the last couple of days, and then Leonard Floyd, who they signed this offseason. How important was that, getting a veteran like Leonard, who's played at such a high level on the edge for so long in this league, to kind of come in and be that voice for these young guys as they develop in that room?
A big thing is Nate Ollie coming in. Okay. Nate Ollie coming in from Texas. Think about it. He had Will Anderson, a young guy, and also had Daniel Hunter. That's almost the same identical thing. You think about the sack numbers, both of those guys put up 11 to 12 last year. So now you got two guys coming into a new system, but they have a new coach, so everybody can learn together. And I mean, looking at Leonard Floyd, a guy who can average 9.5 sacks for the last 5 years, he can honestly come in, and I can see him having that double-digit sack thing that they haven't had here in 10 years. And then you take a younger guy like Jalen Walker. I think he's more of like a leader type guy. He's more of like a Cam, kind of like you see a Cam Jordan type pass rusher. Then you have James Pierce that is just anything you want in a pass rusher. Everything that you see in him, you can see in a younger Leonard Floyd. You can see the flexibility. You can see the movement. You can see if you look at tape on him, the guy is just working off instinct. That's stuff that you can't just find. Like, he's a natural athlete. Once he learns football, it's going to be a wrap.
So I could say, would raw be an accurate description then of James Pierce at this point? Like, we saw one of the best performers at the Combine this year, an insane talent during his time at Tennessee, but needs some fine-tuning. Where would you say the most? Like, his game can take the biggest step if he does what early this year?
When I said staying in here, staying in the facility, learning football, because you can see a lot of stuff he does is just natural talent. He's fast. He's always around the ball. But once he starts learning how defenses work and learning how offenses work, you're going to see those, like, little steps that he takes here and there. You're going to see him going to the ball even faster. He runs a 4.4. I remember watching him at the Combine. Oh. I didn't know who he was because he was so quiet. But now I understand why he was so quiet. He had so much stuff going on. He knew he wanted to be drafted. And he hit that 4.4, and I just saw everybody in a hoodie. I was like, oh my God. I said, okay, I know who this guy is now.
Yeah.
I know who this guy is now. And just watching him, like, even at practice, and you seeing the effort that he's making now. But I think just having Nate Ollie is going to really change that, because he don't care what they do. And he always congratulates his players, no matter if it's a sack and a half, a sack. And that's the kind of stuff you need in a coach that can work with you in any level.
All right, so great coaching in addition to veteran leadership going to help this young group that have a lot of expectations on them this year. The other thing that's been a big story while we're on the subject of James has been early on in camp. He's been one of the guys in the middle of some of the scuffles here. I think the fight counts up to 3. I know Jeff Ulbrich came over, said he likes that edge. When you see that from a young player, I know a lot of times people think maybe a veteran could bristle at young guys coming in and trying to do that too early, but what message does that send when you see that out of him early in camp?
I want to be a leader of this team, and my leader is not going to come from talking. I'm going to show you right now. And like I said, as a rookie, you want to make sure that people respect who you are. Because a lot of times people will think that, oh, he's a rookie, he's going to have to wait for this and wait for this. He's saying that I'm ready to play now. I'm ready to show up now. Okay, Matt, I know you've been here for a long time. I'm ready to give it to you. Newsroom, I'm going to give it to you. Bergeron, y'all going to get it. So that's the kind of thing you want to see from a rookie. And then once he gets that level, because right now he's not level. Right now he's up, down, up, down. Once he get that level of stability and is mentally, and he's ready to play, it's going to be beautiful.
That consistency.
Consistency in that anger. When he can show the anger through his play,
got it.
Now it's kind of like, oh, you ain't see I just made that sack. Don't get mad at me this. And now he want to be frustrated because he want to give them more. But once he start like understanding that on your plays, if you can give that same energy, you got it.
It's Mike Tomlin always had that line, I'd rather say whoa than sick 'em. Like,
exactly.
I'd rather have to pull you back. And it certainly seems with James Pierce, that's a good problem to have early on in his career. So that one very exciting for the folks that we're watching right now on the BR app. You can check us out on the YouTube channel as well. Keep hitting us up in the comments if you guys got questions, comments all day for John, for any of the guests that are coming by here. Hopefully going to talk to some of the big stars that we've seen on offense. Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, who, man, finally let everyone know we've been saying his name wrong this entire time here. For a guy that's a star of that caliber and has been going back to his days at Texas, I'm amazed it took this long for all of us to finally get that tap on the shoulder like, hey, guys, this is actually how you say my name.
Man, he's just happy to be in the league. I can't be mad at him. He's like, I don't care what y'all call me. As long as I understand, I know who y'all talking to me. Like, I tell you, like, my name, everybody called me Tony my whole life until I was like 14, and they started calling me John. I didn't care what they called me. As long as I knew who they was talking about me, I took it. So I get them like that, man. Like, I don't need, as long as I know who y'all talking about, I'm good.
It's so true. I used to always give my dad grief about, which numbers look good and which number. He said, as long as the number's on the field and on the team, I don't give a damn what you issue me.
You good.
You are good to go. So a lot of good numbers there. So, again, Bijan, hopefully one of the guys that we'll talk to here. Kyle Pitts, who a lot of people have high hopes for. This entire offense, really, as we look at some of the upgrades that we've talked about there. Yeah, defensively, brought in a bunch of new parts. There are guys that we're getting excited about there. But offensively, you pointed it out, this team has invested a ton of capital in these guys, from the line of scrimmage to the playmakers on the outside. And I know you're starting to hear that chatter in camp from guys saying, why can't we be the best offense in the sport? You think based on what they've spent on that side of the ball, that should be the expectation.
Yeah, I think the five guys that we got to worry about the most is the offensive line. You're talking about those defensive linemen that they got now. You're talking about the edges. You're talking about how great, Jesse Bates is going to be. I really feel like if you're going to be the great team, you got to have a great up front on both sides. Look, Newsel, he's coming in. We need you to, bring that same energy from last year. Listrom, you got paid. We're ready to see you be that guy. We want to see more out of you. We want to see this line. Bijan had 1,400 yards rushing. Bijan could have easily had 1,700 to 1,800 yards. And I think the only reason why he didn't, because he had to make so many jukes in the backfield.
Sure.
McGarry, hey, you're the big guy now, because you got to understand you got a left-hand quarterback now. So you're the backside guy.
Yeah.
So even though they had to pay you, because they're like, hey,
that's a great point.
We got to give him a little more money because he's guarding our quarterback.
You know what? I mean? Shame on me. I'm a former offensive lineman. I didn't even think of that. You change the side of the quarterback, and it's like, you know what? We need to slide a little bit more of that money that way on the table.
That's why they pay me at edge, because I got to see that kind of difference. See, your job was to block me, so I'm guaranteed you know exactly what the end is going to do. But I'm seeing what y'all doing on offense, and I know so okay, McCary is the guy I got to worry about now. I'm good, So that's the kind of thing I see. And also, with Matthew being the older guy,
sure,
you gotta set a precedence before this year. You got to tell Bijan, everybody won't go Rolexes after this year, because we want you to be the offensive player of the year. Penix, we want something for you too, maybe a truck or something, because you're going to be going to the Pro Bowl this year. You're going to be the cleanest quarterback in the league. That's the kind of offensive line you want to play behind.
That certainly seems like the kind of group. Dwayne Ledford, who's been here for a while, is the O-line coach, the run game coordinator. That group, we know they can run the hell out of outside zone. They're going to get great cutback lanes for Bijan, and they're going to try and protect Michael Penix Jr., who going into, I guess, year 1.5, got the 3 starts at the end of last season when they made the change full-time from Kirk Cousins. And I guess let's just start there, that transition for a young player. How difficult is that? Kirk Cousins still here in the room, obviously said he wanted to be traded and have the opportunity to play elsewhere, but seems like they're content to go into the season with him being a very highly paid backup in that room. Any potential discomfort for him or Michael going into the season you worry about?
With any other quarterback, I would say yes. But him, changing from Indiana to Washington, knee surgeries, all the stuff he went through to become the position that he's in, even sitting out last year, even when, Kirk might have been playing injured, might have been playing like this, all the stuff that he had to grow through, and you still see the confidence in him. Because he comes back, and even how he talks about, wanting to give Kyle Pitts more job, wanting to have Bijan, be more of a premier on the offense. This is the kind of thing that you don't understand when I'm a 22-year guy or a 21 guy like Anthony Richardson who hasn't got it yet. You can see the difference between this older guy who's been through injury and sees how to come back, shows how to put players in positions, and I think that he has adversity already way before this, so this is nothing to him.
That's really interesting that you bring that up. We were at Washington last week, and I was talking with Santana Moss there about Jaden Daniels, and he said the same thing. You can tell the difference with guys, especially at quarterback, that played a lot of college football.
Right.
We see some of these guys as the towel is just continuing to war against John Abraham right now. The weather has picked up out here.
I'm getting sacked over here.
I can say he's getting sacked by the towel right now, but I think that point getting made by a lot of people, especially when you look at that quarterback class from 2 years ago that Michael was a part of. Those guys all stuck around in college football a long time, got used to being the leader of a team, and to the point where Michael went through a bunch of adversity. How important do you think for a quarterback that ability to be able to sit behind Kirk for a while last year? How much does that help him versus even getting on the field the way he did at the end?
Honestly, I think he's the James Pierce Jr. of our offense.
Interesting.
Because he has a chip on his shoulder. Even when you see him talk on interviews, you see the confidence protrude. You don't see anything about him backing down. You don't see him saying that, oh, well, I should have did this. He's in his moment. And when you see a quarterback like that, you can feel it. Like when I first seen him last year, I think everybody, like even the fans, everybody was kind of like, why did we take him? I understand now. From watching him from last year, just getting put in the situation with 3 games to play, 2 overtime games they could have won. If we had a healthy cool, a couple situations that we probably could have won. But how he presented himself then and how he's presenting his now in offseason, even like I said, making the thing like you're gonna see a lot more KP this year. You know how much confidence. You know how much confidence.
Oh yeah.
He know he needs that guy.
Yeah.
And he know how much scrutiny that KP is going through. So he needs this, like, I need you, bro.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing, like, and it ain't calling you out in a bad way. It's calling you like, we're going to get it.
Yeah, to say I have confidence in you.
Yes.
As we have the question up in the chat right now, which Falcon goes first in your fantasy draft? Michael Penix Jr., Bijan Robinson, Drake London. No Kyle Pitts in there, but rest assured, like you said, he's the conversation every year when it comes to people thinking, hey, what we saw early on that rookie season can tap back into it again. So I think you're right. To have your quarterback come out and say, no, I believe in you and I know you got this in you, goes a long way. When we look at the rest of this offense around Michael Penix Jr., Darnell Mooney right now missing with the shoulder injury. We know that right now Drake London is the guy. He's your number 1 wide receiver. He established himself with a career year last year. How big is that Darnell Mooney injury in terms of the way this offense can evolve in the passing attack?
For right now, I don't think it's big.
Okay.
Because we have so many other weapons. If they didn't have so many other people, like losing him only gets Kyle more. Losing him only gives Bijan more.
Got it.
Losing him only gives Drake more. Because these guys, and anybody, Ray McLeod can come in here right now and fill in this spot. So that's the kind of thing that I'm not going to say he's going to do exactly what he like. Mooney had an incredible year last year.
Yes, he did.
But also, I think with this team and how Raheem has a team, everybody's up. It's like I remember one of the coaches always tell me, it's the next man up. It's always the next man up. And I think they play that way, and I think they show that way. It's not like we're definitely going to miss you, but hey, we got to go.
I think one of the most impressive things to me, you mentioned Ray McLeod, who a lot of people are wondering, hey, can he be that wide receiver too while Darnell Mooney's out? And the first thing I noticed when you watch this offense, and Zack Robinson, who comes over as your offensive coordinator, is part of that Shanahan-McVay trio of guys, work with Sean out there, like, they make the wide receivers work. You're going to go in here and you're going to stick your nose in it and block. And Darnell Mooney, you see him down in the backside working cutoff. You see him working and inserting on guys in the box. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there. And so I think when you see that kind of tone set by all these guys across the board in the offense, I think it gives you great confidence that, all right, on the other side of that, we can count on him in those situations. So getting him the ball and the things that wide receivers like to do, that's just a bonus. He'll be great there.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing you said about Zack Robinson, the big thing about Zack Robinson, he was able to make changes last year. The reason why Jimmy Lake isn't here is because he didn't make changes. Like, that's why we got Jeff Ulbrich, a better defensive coordinator that is willing to make changes. And he just came from the Jets. So they have a plethora of defensive ends and everybody edges and everything like that. But I think the biggest thing is Zach can make it happen now. I remember last year I was kind of nervous watching him come, like, what is our offense doing? Why are we not running the ball? We have a great running back. Why are we doing all this stuff to, like, not give Bijan the ball? Like, what is going on? But then, like, the middle of the season, he just started correcting himself, and he changed, and he started seeing the offense doing more things. So he knows how to utilize his players.
What did you see change in the middle of last season that started to work more for this team?
The common sense stuff.
Okay.
It was
nice.
The common sense stuff because you have Bijan.
Right.
But we're tired of, like, you taking Bijan out of this situation. We're tired of, we love Algiers, but it's like you have a guy that needs to have the ball in his hand. And like we said, he had 1,400 yards, but he could have easily had 17 to 1,800. But he had, like, if he wasn't such a skilled athlete and juking guys, like, I don't know what in the backfield and getting like 7 or 8 yards out of nothing, that's the situation that had to change, and they were able to see that early in the season.
He is one of the most enjoyable running backs to watch in all of football. Had some high praise from Saquon Barkley, who said he's the next one in terms of, especially among the best cutback running backs that you've got in the NFL. He is one of one in that regard. So high hopes for him, high hopes for this entire offense as we get set to go here. It looks like we may be getting one of the members of this offense coming and joining us here in just a second, getting ready right now. But I think we talked about Michael a little bit already, that mentality. Zack Robinson, you mentioned, being able to come over and make a big change. That offensive line that you hit on before, how important is continuity with a group like that? Oh, you know what? Well, actually, we'll put a pin in that right now.
We'll talk about it later. We got to talk about it later.
We don't need to talk about big uglies right now. We got the star out here. What's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. All right, how you feeling, man? You got a nice breeze cutting through today after all that heat last week in camp.
It's not a bad day. I kind of like it, I don't do very well with the heat right now, so it's been good.
Nice. All right, well, the weather's been good here. How's camp been so far here? Another year now and a new year getting to know Michael Penix Jr. at quarterback. What's the early returns been in camp for you guys so far?
It's been really, really fun. We're getting in sync, and that's the main goal right now. Trying new things and getting back to our bread and butters of the offense. So it's been really fun, and ultimately just playing football again is really great.
No, it's incredible. I mean, year 4 for you, coming off a career year last year. And we mentioned a year where you started off the season with Kirk Cousins, you finished with Michael. I'm curious for you overall, regardless of who was at quarterback, what clicked last year that made it such a successful season for you?
I think it's just the offense and the way Z-Rob and Raheem are using me out there, moving me around a lot. And then, too, it's just we have special playmakers, Mooney, Ray, Bijan, Tyler, KP, everybody out there. So it opens a lot of space for people.
Were you as surprised as everybody else when Bijan came out and said, y'all been pronouncing my name wrong forever?
No, I've been calling him B forever. I just call him B, so I didn't even take a leap at that.
Make it easy.
No, make it real easy there. You mentioned, we were just talking a little bit about Zack Robinson before coming over, obviously part of one of the most popular coaching trees in the NFL. What stuck out to you right away about his version of offense, how he coached you guys on that side of the ball?
Shoot, we motion a lot. No, but it's good. It's just to keep the defense on the toes. But he's an exceptional coach, and he understands his players and wants to listen to his players on exactly what they want and what they see too.
Oh, I think that you are going to be probably one of the most explosive receivers in the league this year. I was just waiting for that opportunity to see you. Like seeing you last year and seeing just a small, I guess the small momentum of what you can be is going to be amazing. But also, why are you a bully? I mean, because Raheem Morris. I mean, I know that's true, but
do we have the footage of him putting Raheem on his?
But does that show how cool of a coach that you have, that y'all can have that kind of situation, and it's just like it's fun.
Yeah.
And people got to understand. Like a lot of times, I had coaches in my career couldn't have that kind of play time where it'll automatically you're getting fined, you're getting this. So what does Raheem Morris do for you as a player?
Amazing. I'll say that he kind of brought my love back to football, really.
Wow.
And it's really fun. It's not too much of a business when we're out there on the field, and he makes it feel like that. And it's that type of atmosphere. But at the end of the day, don't get it twisted because we're all about work. So
you're seeing the highlights now from camp. Raheem thought it could go out here and maybe try and get hands on the big guy and learn very
It's
quickly.
Been brewing for a minute, though.
Yeah,
It's been brewing for a minute.
I knew it.
Okay. Yeah. What has he just been chirping a little bit?
Yeah, been chirping. He's gotten in front of me a couple times, and he's put paws on me and things like that. So I had to get him back right there.
All right, there you go. Set the tone. That's what it's all about. One of the leaders on this team. Setting the tone. I see some appreciation in the chat for the Kobe Grinch cleats. Bring it out to practice. Got no choice but to ball with those on.
Obviously, yes, sir.
Let's talk about Michael Penix Jr. Year 2 for him. Got in at the end of last season. You guys got to develop some of that chemistry. For him, what makes him someone who you think can come in and be the leader for this football team on offense?
I always talk about his demeanor. He was thrown into the fire, into the games, and he never shied away for anything. I didn't even see him crack a smile or anything like that out there. And he was just so even keel. And I think that's what's very, very special about him. And in the quarterback role, honestly, it's a hard position. And to have even kill is a huge thing, and it's cool to see as a wide receiver, you know, if you drop a pass, if you do something like that, he's going to stay the same, and that just builds up confidence and keeps the offense going.
I mean, speaking of confidence, he said you guys should be the #1 offense in the league this year. You co-signing that take with him?
Yeah, I'll co-sign that.
Yeah,
Sure.
With the playmakers that you guys have on offense, that's not surprising, but it's also not an easy thing what he's pulled off here. Kirk Cousins starts last season, comes in, gets paid a bunch of money. He's a veteran in this league. What's impressed you most about the way they've both handled that situation?
Amazing. Absolutely class acts. Like, at the end of the day, they know what happened, and they just did what they did, you know, and they did it professionally. And that was the biggest thing for me to see, especially how Kirk handled it and how MP handled it. It was very cool to see.
What'd you learn being around a guy like Kirk who's played a bunch of high-level football, seen around that? What'd you take away from that experience?
What it takes to be great at this sport and how much you have to love this sport. I mean, it's year 14 for him, and he's still stoked to come out to practice and just absolutely have a ball, you know. So I think that's what I learned most from him, you know. He's an exceptional quarterback, and I love that I got to play with him.
No, it's incredible.
Well, what keeps you consistent, man? Because, like, ever since I watched you as a rookie to even now, you seem like when I look at you, I think of Mike Evans, because y'all just have that. You don't have to hoop and holler. You don't have to, except when you like sat on your head. But that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool, man. But I'm like, what keeps you consistent? Because, you know, some guys need so much outer stuff to bring them in, but it seems like you're always in tune to the game. Like every time I watch you play, like every game, whether y'all losing, it's like you're always, I guess, in tune.
Yeah. I went to even kill with MP, and that's what I was taught in college. You know, even kill. But as far as it goes, consistency, I don't think in my eyes, I'll never be enough to be a good football player in my eyes, you know? So I'm always striving to be great and be good at whatever I'm doing, you know? So I think that's what keeps me striving for more and wanting more at the end of the day and focused on the job at hand.
Yeah, no roof, bro. I feel you.
Yeah.
No roof on this thing.
No, certainly no roof for you. And listen, no hiding. Everyone's ready for you when the scouting report on Tuesday shows up. Everyone's got you on the docket. As you guys have gone through camp right now, Darnell Mooney's been out. You know, we know Bijan Robinson, another one of the big names. You guys have first-round picks all over the place. Is there a guy on your offense that you think maybe doesn't get the credit he deserves, or that you think is due for a big season this year that's going to help you guys that maybe doesn't get the same love?
Ray and Kadero Hodge. Those are the two people right there that I could think of. I mean, I could think of a lot. You could put Tyler in there. Shoot, there's a lot of people who don't really get as much love from the outside world, I'll say. But the dirty work that they do and the things that they do to help this offense go as it goes is crazy, you know. So I would say those three guys right there for sure.
It's an impressive group and one that a lot of high expectations, none higher than in your guys' room on offense. I know that for this 2025 season. Drake, congrats on all the success so far, man. Hope the rest of camp goes well. We're excited to watch you guys this fall.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Drake. Appreciate it.
Good luck this year, man.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Good luck. Awesome stuff. Everyone fired up.
He big.
Drake, he is. That was the
big
one thing.
guy.
He starts walking up. I said, damn.
Big guy.
You know what?
Hey.
People always talk about a tight end as a quarterback's best friend. I don't know. I think that guy might. And you said Mike Evans too. Is that who he reminds you the most of?
He does. I think the quiet demeanor, like he doesn't really show you the yards. He don't show you, but he's like 1,000 yards last year. You know what I mean? 9 touchdowns. Easily a Pro Bowl type year. You know, if the Falcons played better at the end, you know, we don't know what we can see. You know, hopefully the year can start off very explosive and and I think with Michael Penix Jr. it's going to bring a lot more media to the games. They're going to bring a lot more, especially playing, you know, the NFC West and also playing the AFC East. They're going to have a lot of opportunities to be on TV.
All right, talking about the schedule, we're going to have you pick every game of the schedule later on and get the Falcons' 2025 record on wax. So it's good that you're already studied up on that. Smitty's Sports Machine in here says, got to be Kadero Hodge. He's a special teams monster and a solid fill-in wide receiver. Again, a big part of the way they've retooled this team on offense. So going to have plenty of opportunities because I think that's the one other thing that's going to be really interesting. when you've got this many talented players on one side of the ball, it's kind of that old basketball phrase, there's only one ball, there's a lot of mouths to feed. And so trying to find touches and opportunities for all these guys is going to be an interesting challenge for Z-Rob.
I think it's going to be an interesting challenge, but I also, I'm going back to the offensive line. I'm sorry, Smitty. I know who this is. I know who Smitty is, but I really feel like if we can get 2 offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl and maybe have an All-Pro, which we had in the past, I think that'll be the thing that's going to lead this team to a different level. Because I think once you have All-Pros on the offensive line, you're going to start getting All-Pros in the backfield. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And everybody knows Bijan is going to do that this year. If he stay healthy, we have nothing to worry about with him. Penix is going to be able to find these guys that are wide open, hopefully, because this offensive line going to give them time. And also you have a scrambler. You have a quarterback that can do a lot of things. And I'm not saying he scrambles to run the ball. He scrambles to get the ball to other guys. He's a very intelligent guy. So to say they need something, they just got to put it on the tape. They got to put it on tape. Like I said, I don't want to harp on the schedule right now.
Sure.
But I looked at the schedule, and I was like, they can win every game, but also they're playing some hard teams.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So the teams that they're going to get matched up this year. This year is going to be one of these games that we can watch every game and be excited about.
No doubt about that here. Excited to be out at training camp. BR NFL Training Camp Live. Mike Golic Jr. here with Falcons legend John Abraham. As we go through and look ahead towards this season, we've talked about a lot of the guys in this offense. We talked to Drake London before. Let's have the conversation. Kyle Pitts, we touched on it a little earlier. Every year, he's someone with a ton of fantasy expectations put on him. Incredible ability that we've seen coming out of Florida. One of the freakiest athletes at that position. What gives you the belief that at this point now for him, he's still capable of maybe even tapping further into that ceiling he's got as a player?
He ain't got nothing to lose, man. It's to the certain point now that, like he said, he tuned out everybody that's worrying about him. This is either going to be a make or break. Okay, what you want your career to be now? And that's what you got going at every year. So he can't pay attention the way he did in the past. He can't worry about his first year, having Matt Ryan. He can't worry about all this stuff that now you have Penix. So let's just play football. Stop worrying about everything that's going on in life, and let's just play football, man. And just be present. He still got a lot of years in his career, regardless of how good or bad they think this year is going to be. So don't even worry about it, man. Don't put it. I remember when I went to Arizona, it was 14 years in. Everybody, I was wondering why I got cut from the Falcons. I was wondering why all this. But then I just went on the field and I said, I'm just going to play. I'm just going to play. I'm not even going to care about no contract. I'm not going to care about how many sacks I get. I'm just going to go out here and play. If I'm him, whether I got to block down the field, whether I make a catch, whether I got to do this, whether I got to serve food today. Hey, we doing it all this year, man. Okay, this is my last year, man. Y'all going to know me.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
There's something freeing about that approach, I'd imagine, after going through a situation with as much pressure as you were in back then and certainly as Kyle has been in now. Hey, only pressure on opposing defenses when we get this guy out here, Bijan Robinson, out here on the set. How you doing? Great. And making sure I get that right, Bijan. So we finally are giving everyone the education on the name, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you can say however you want to say it. However it sounds to you, it's all good.
See, you're way too nice about that. If I was as good as you, I'd have been like, y'all are gonna say my name right, damn it.
No, what's crazy is now I'm going to some places. I go to the gas station. I went to the gas station up the street, and the clerk, he was like, I'm in a Bijan. I was like, bro, you can say however you want, bro.
He said, y'all gonna know who I am regardless.
Yeah,
they check my tape. I was telling Golic, I was like, look, man, sometimes you don't care what people call you, as long as they don't call you collect. And I'm like this. And I'm like this. Yeah, that mean they locked up.
Oh, yeah.
I guess collect calls.
Yeah.
Calling even a thing? Is that something? Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But I mean, how have you been playing this year? What's your main focus? I mean, you're just so quiet as an individual. We had a better media. We had a media team we had in certain states. If you was in New York, man, you would be pretty much this high.
Yeah.
And even him saying that he don't even care what they call his name, you got to understand how humble this guy is.
Yeah, man.
So this year, what is your aspects on this team right now?
I mean, you just see there's a lot of confidence. We're building a lot of confidence with this team and just how we're going about our business. And I think for me individually, I just want to be better than last year. As a leader, obviously on the field, and my confidence has grown so much because from year 1 to year 3, it's a difference when you're on that field and you know everything that's going on. The speed of the game, everything slows down. So for me, that's obviously a plus. But I want to be a better leader for those guys that see me play and that are with me every single day, and for them to trust me at every aspect.
better than last season. Scary for a lot of people. Over 1,800 scrimmage yards, 15 touchdowns, and really just in control and getting a lot of high praise from some other people here. I saw Saquon Barkley the other day said there's nobody who's able to cut like Bijan in the NFL. There's not. You can argue with your mom about that, I'll be honest, but trust me, I love myself and I think I have cuts. There's nobody like him, and called you the next great one. What's it mean to hear that from a guy like him?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's a blessing, man. To know, obviously, the season that he had last year was incredible, and for him to like give me props like that is super dope. And obviously, like you got to listen to that, and then you got to kind of put it to the side and throw it out the back pocket, because I'm trying to work hard every single day to be at that level. And I have so much confidence in my O-line and what they've done and how they've been effective the past 3 years that I've been here. And just my trust in those guys is been growing and building every single day. And I think we're all on the same page of what kind of season, not just me, but that Drake can have, that Mooney can have, that Ray, Kyle, like that we all can have for each other. And I think with those guys on the outside helping me out, and with me helping them out, we're all gonna have an amazing season on the field this year.
This is a personal question. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
Is it hard to come out the game and see Tyler get a big run? I remember when I played defensive end, like I used to love getting sacks, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to see my guys eat. But every
Absolutely.
now and then, I watch the game, man. I be sitting there and I be watching. I be like, if Bijan was in, how hard it is. It's hard, but I know it's because you love Tyler. I know y'all have a great relationship, but how is that for you? Like, because I know for me it was kind of tough sometimes. I had to get my yards first. Or, I'm sorry, I had to get my sacks first, and then. So how do you guys work with that?
Yeah, man, it's not hard at all, man. I just want to see him succeed.
Right.
I think the 1-2 punch is important in the NFL, and I think that's if you want to have the most, out of your offense, like you can have another guy at running back that's still a number one. It's pretty dominant, man. And with Tyler, like when he gets a big run, like I'm super happy, I'm super excited, and vice versa. Because even with him, like I score a touchdown, he's the first one there. He scores a touchdown, I'm the first one there. So. We know what we bring to the game. It's really hard to stop me and Tyler when we're trying to be on every single game, but when we're really rolling, you can't really stop it because he's in the game and he's wearing them down with his, he's underneath his pads and he's like trying to hit, and then I come in the game and I could be anywhere and everywhere. So when you have two guys that can do that, then good luck.
Yeah, it really is impressive. I mean, they see him moving you all over the offense, using you guys on the field together, and with that 1-2 punch, I know the knockout blow is always a big one for the running backs, and for you do so many great things well. Career-long rush is only 38 yards right now.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're conscious of? Like, what goes into popping off a big run? You've had so many in your career going back through high school and college, obviously.
Yeah.
What goes into making that kind of big run that right now just hasn't happened yet in the NFL for you?
I mean, just keep on pressing, man. Like we have so many run schemes now that we can pop those big runs. And I mean, I just got to just keep on just looking for it, and not even looking for it, just doing my rules, doing what I got to do. And I mean, they're gonna break. And I know it was 38 yards. I know probably the longest pass like 7. I don't know, but. It's not something that I think about. Obviously, I want to do it. So this is the season to do it, and this is my third year, so it's going to happen.
There we go. I have a feeling, like all the other great parts of your career, that one's just a when, not an if thing.
Yeah.
That's going to come.
Yeah.
We mentioned before, you're one of the best cutback runners in the NFL, so smooth in the open field. You make a lot of hitters swing and miss. I'm curious, though, now this many years into your career, who are, in your opinion, maybe the top 5 biggest hitters that you've encountered on the other side of the football so far through your career?
Nobody. They can't hit him.
I figured
that is true,
I'm being honest. Like, I watch this guy. I'm watching him an upside.
Yeah.
I'm looking like.
I was going to say, have you had that, like, welcome to the NFL hit at this point?
I mean, I'm going to knock on wood, but nope, I haven't.
Wow.
Just because I'm trying, I'm not trying to get hit. First of all, I'm trying to make the first person miss
all the time.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Maybe and the second. So for me, I'm trying to put you in such an uncomfortable position. Like, you don't want to come full speed and try to hit me. A lot of guys, like, they'll gallop or they'll, like, gang tackle, and that's the goal. Like, I don't ever want to get squared up on. I don't ever want to get hit. So I'm trying to either make you miss or find that quarter of your shoulder and run through it, because, I mean, that's that's the worst for a linebacker or for a running back is to take a head-on hit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I hate it. And so for me, I'm doing everything in my power to get around you, get past you. But I'll say, like, guys that can bring the boom, especially like on blocking. Frankie Louvu is a guy. I respect him a lot. I think on our team, Caden Ellis, I mean, that dude in practice, like, he gives me a fit in practice. He's like impossible to block. Like, I block him, but like I can see other running backs, like, they be struggling. And then who else? I'll say Demario, yeah, he brings it. He brings the boom. Like, if he has a straight on headshot, like, he'll come in and hit you. But yeah, man, I mean, Quentin Williams, he's one. But other than that, like, that's probably who
I appreciate how difficult it is for you to think of this because, again, no one really gets a clean shot on you. I would say that's also true of another guy I saw you working with this offseason, Christian McCaffrey. You guys worked out together in California, been one of the best in the game for a while. What did you take away from that experience with him?
Yeah, man, I mean, obviously just his vet experience and just how long he's been in this league. And, we did a lot of route techniques, a lot of route running this offseason. And I think just seeing how he just creates leverage on routes and on choice routes and stuff like that, man, like, it's been amazing, like, getting to learn from that. And then on the field, like, it's been showing. Just trying to be unguardable at all aspects. Like, don't let a safety, a corner, linebacker, doesn't matter who's on you, just don't let them get their hands on you. And because when you catch the ball, like, they still got to try to tackle you, and that's when you break some more long runs and stuff like that. So that's what I learned from him the most this offseason.
This is a personal question for me. When did you know that you're that guy? I know everybody has that moment, whether it was in high school, junior high, like, you made a move and you was like, wow, I'm good. Like, everybody has that moment when you're playing football, when you do something special, and it's kind of like you surprise yourself. Like, you can work on it, you can do all that stuff, but when did you know that, like, I'm a little different?
Yeah. I think it was probably my sophomore year of high school. It was the first game of the season, and, like, I ran an outside play. I think it was a toss to the left, and this was the first play of the game. And I, like, made a move and cut back the other way, and then made another. Like, it was a Jurassic run. Like, you would be like, bro, this isn't real. And it was like a 50-yard. Yeah, it was like a 50-yard run, and after that play, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a fun
This
fun journey.
Football thing might work out well.
It's gonna be a fun. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun journey.
I think more than a few years here. Bijan, man, this has been a ton of fun.
Yeah, man.
I know Falcons fans are excited hearing about all those new moves already showing up on the field, and we're excited to see it too. Best of luck with the rest of camp, man.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Hey,
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
Yep. Solid, bro. Man, good seeing y'all. Good talking to y'all.
Good to see you.
Stuff right there. Good luck this year, man.
I do appreciate how genuinely difficult that was for him to name anyone that could actually thud him up in the.
But do you watch him block?
Oh, it's.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like,
we
would have been fighting.
He stands up. I don't
we
want to
would have
run
been fighting,
into.
man. We would have been fighting. No.
Hey,
All right,
good to see you. Thanks, man. It's man, that is, and listen, he was coming into the league at a time where, and you can speak to this right now. I mean, the era of football you came up in, we saw running back was always heavily featured, such an important part of offenses. As you were leaving the league, that was when it started to become more of a pace and space league. Everyone's in 11 personnel. Everyone's getting lighter and dropping back and throwing the ball all over the place. And now in the last couple of years, as he comes into the league, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, him, Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit, we're seeing a real rushing renaissance right now that times up perfectly with a player of his skill set coming back onto the scheme, and I think puts the Falcons in a really good position to kind of capitalize, because I'm sure you've noticed, and I'd be curious your thoughts, defenses, the linebackers look smaller. What's been leading to right now it feels teams like feeling they have an advantage going and rushing the football against defenses?
Well, my big thing, I'm glad you said this, Mike. I'm glad that they are putting the value back on running backs. Because the things that he do to help an offensive line, the things he do to help his receiver, the things that he does to help a quarterback is the stuff that you don't hear about.
Yep.
You know, all we thinking about is how many yards. He had 14-yard rushing, but you don't know how many times, like I said, his blocking has stopped so many blitzing linebackers. He's put so many people in their place. And to have a guy like that is phenomenal. Like, I've been around running backs, and all they want to do to be running backs.
Sure.
They wouldn't block.
Yeah.
You know, they have the body of Tarzan and play like Jane. Everybody's been around those kind of guys before. But this guy is like, when you see he's a combat guy, but he's ready to play anything on the field. Like, he's the kind of guy you line up at receiver. You can line him anywhere on the field, and he's going to make something happen. This is the kind of thing that I hate when they devalue a position, because every position is important, I think, and sometimes it's got to come to what the player is to the team. And he's that player to this team. He's that player to this team right now. Like, he is, and the how humble he is ridiculous.
Oh my God!
Saying that, how just to talk to a guy that, like, even him telling us that one little run, like him in high school, it probably was way more amazing than he's talking about. We probably could find film and be like, what the heck?
Yeah,
like,
what he just described was probably what a bunch of people consider the greatest play they've ever seen in their life,
yes,
and it's a slow Tuesday for him.
Slow Tuesday.
But I think that's a great point you brought up, though. For this team, he is a weapon. Like,
yes.
Erase the position name next to it, and it's what he does for this group. And that versatility as a blocker, as someone that they can put in and motion through while you got a different running back in the backfield. As a defender, having that much to think about with the guy, how much does that change the way that you guys approach defending an offense that's got a guy like that?
When I look at him, I think about Marshall Faulk.
Interesting.
And it's a funny story. I remember Brian Cox was like, y'all put me one-on-one with Marshall Faulk. and that's the same thing with Bijan. Like, the one-on-one stuff, if you sit here and watch every game and the stuff that you don't see on camera, like the stuff when he's like sliding to the right, making a block, shaking somebody and getting open, because all we see is the completion, but you don't see the stuff he does to make everyone else around him look better. Like I said, you see a lot of times he'll be in the backfield, about to get tackled, nice little cut, another cut. Next thing you know, 2 yards. Like they say he got 1,400 yards, but if you think about all the yards he juke and stuff, his juke probably 500 yards in the season. So we could juke yards is like 500 yards.
That's the next gen stat we
got.
Someone keep track of juke yards.
Juke yards, because I'm telling you, because this guy he makes stuff happen, and if I had the opportunity to play with him, which I had the opportunity to play with some great running backs like Curtis Martin. Those are the kind of guys you want to be around, because they're professional on and off the field, man, and they understand their assignments.
It's incredible and already inviting some lofty comparisons. We're here on BR NFL Training Camp Live. We always want to hear from you guys in the chat. The home team with Blackberry says Bijan has the nastiest cuts in history, and yes, I'm including Barry in that. Argue with your mommy. That's a pretty bold one. Barry Sanders comps are pretty good. But to your point, like you mentioned Curtis Martin, Marshawn Faulk, like I think of how smooth it looks with Bijan. Like that was like, to me, I grew up early 2000s Reggie Bush as a guy that was making those kind of moves at full speed to where the defense is constantly off balance. Just incredible. So really great getting the insight with Bijan and the offense. I want to go back to the defense a little bit, because we talked a lot before about some of the personnel here, but Coach Ulbrich coming over from the Jets, how big of an impact in your mind does he make as someone coming in? People got to know him a lot more because he was the interim head coach. We obviously saw him in front of the podium a lot, but in terms of the top-down effect on that defense, what have you seen so far as his impact on this team?
Well, his impact, I actually got drafted him in 2000. So that's the first thing. So I'm amazed by this. And just getting to watch him, Aaron Glenn, getting to watch Raheem Morris, all these guys in 2000, I was around in some kind of capacity. Because in Hofstra, I had both of those guys.
Wow.
And I get to see them play this year. So I got to talk to Jeff last year, and he talks just like he plays still. Because when I was talking to him, I was like sitting here just nodding, because I was like, I'm retired, so I don't know what you're talking about. But he was getting into it. But he always focuses on the best for a team, not the best. Like sometimes you'll see somebody what's best for the DC. The defensive coordinator wants to put, this is my defense, this is what I do, this is what I do. Yep. Not him. He'll see his player. He's like, this guy is good at this. He'll look at Caden Nelson and be like, I know he can blitz, but I want Caden to be more of a downhill guy on the run. Because last year, I don't know what they were doing last year, but the linebackers were sitting and waiting too much. Just watching them now, you can see the linebackers know that the offense is coming. They know like what play I need to go downhill, and I guess it's a bigger thing when you can respect what a coach is calling, because you understand what the coach is telling you.
It's not a square peg,
round
round
hole
situation.
Yes,
you have an understanding of where you fit.
I know exactly why you're telling me this now, compared to, do I need to do this because I got to watch out for this guy? No. just go downhill. We don't need anything else. We got Leonard Floyd out here. He's gonna make sure that this is gonna be covered. We don't got to worry about you doing that. So just play football.
I think I've seen people bring that up with a guy like, James Pearson, the young guys, where, hey, I'm going to give you one thing to do that I know you can do really well. And we got guys here, we got a system here that can go and account for the rest of that. We want to put you in a position to succeed there. Let's talk about another position group that's got to succeed. One of the outgoing players this offseason, Grady Jarrett, who had been a fixture around here forever at defensive tackle, a guy that had been a great interior force for this team. Who are you looking at on the interior of that defensive line? We talked about the edge trio that everyone's excited about, but who in that group are you most excited to see and needs to step up for this team?
Well, obviously, David Onyemata, he's been a vet now. So when he first came here, we was expecting a lot from him and Grady, and now that Grady gone, it's pretty much your interior now. You know what I mean? And then they got a young guy coming, another guy from Clemson. I'm a Carolina guy, so it's hard to talk about these people.
I appreciate it. But, that's big of you to put that aside.
Yeah, I got to put so Aurora. There you go. Okay, Ruke Aurora. He's going to have to step up and be the guy. I mean, it's no more situations of, okay, you're playing behind Grady, you got to sit here and watch. Now you're in the fire, man. And you're in the fire with some younger guys. So even though it's your second year, you still got to stand up and be the man around here. You still got to talk to them like, this is even if, because they don't really know you, so they don't know how much information you know either. So you can sit here and lie, fake it till you make it, make like act like you have been all pro and all this and do all this thing and get into their mindset, because with the guys that they're bringing in, they can have. We know they had like 31 sacks last year. Yep. And the percentage of sacks need to be around 7% to 9%. Their percentage was right at 5%. So the sacks they were getting were not. If you want to be a great defense, you got to have 9%. 9% was, I think Denver had 9% sack percentage. So every time they dropped back, so they got 9%. So they had like 60-some sacks. You say if they can get to 7% or 7.5%, get them around 40-something. If they can get 42 sacks this year, they will literally be right there with Philadelphia. If they can get 42 sacks, they'll be right up. Like if they get 45 sacks, they can be right above Kansas City. So you got these two Super Bowl teams. So you got to see how close and how close you are to being a great team. And it's like it sounds like it's easy. It's only like 10 sacks, but those 10 sacks maybe can come with Leonard Floyd coming in. Leonard Floyd, he's automatic 9.5 sack guy. And you got the young guys. Jalen gonna, once he figure it out, once he understand what he's doing, become the leader that he is, it's gonna work out also. And we're not sure exactly what James pitched Jr. because he's not a starter right now, but we know he's gonna be in the game a lot. Imagine the package that you can get all three of those guys in at one time. As a defensive coordinator, man, you might as well just. I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't fathom it as a defensive
That
coordinator.
feels like old school New York Giants NASCAR package.
God,
right there.
it
And
sounds
again,
so good.
We're sitting here with the franchise's all-time sack leader, so man knows a thing or two about getting to the quarterback. You think this group is capable of that with those guys that we mentioned up front in this unit?
They are super capable if they listen to, like I said, my guy is Nate Ollie can find what they're good at. If Nate Ollie can recognize that, he's terrible on the left side, let me keep him on the right. If Nate Ollie can keep everybody's mental into the game at all times, you got to understand there's going to be times that you're behind that they're going to need a big sack. Sometimes you're thinking that, they're going to run the ball. So when you know the difference between run and pass, and I know it's like there's only two things you can't do, run and pass. I'm saying if you know the difference between this is going to be a 3-step pass, this is going to be a 5-step. If you can find that out, and you can find out how fast I need to get to the quarterback, and if I can help Onyemata, if I can help Aurora, if I can help those guys to get to the quarterback even faster. And, Caden Ellis had 5 sacks last year.
Yeah.
150 tackles, which is ridiculous if you think about it for a middle linebacker. But I think he can live free this year. Because I see a lot of times on the run, they were making tackles, but it was so far, like it was 5 yards down the field. I think he'll be able to get these 2-yard runs. He can get these 3-yard runs, even like get some, run behind a lot of scrimmage because of these other guys that they have to look out for. He was the only guy last year. I felt bad for him a lot, but you understand the playing about, you want to be that kind of guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Anywhere 55 like I did, so I wanted to see him ball.
There we go. Hey, listen, nothing wrong with wanting to see the number go out there and ball. I think that's perfectly natural, but you're right. I think more of these guys going forward creates opportunities for those stuffs behind the line, get an offense off schedule. It's been pointed out by a few people in the chat saying, hey, we didn't really see a lot of our rushers going forward last year. Someone mentioned Matthew Judon dropping into coverage last year, guys going away from it there. And so letting more of these guys that go out here and are designed to go forward, get down here and downhill and raise hell, do their thing, goes a long way, letting guys do what comes natural.
And I ain't trying to talk bad about somebody, but that's why Jimmy Lake is not here. Let's get over it. Understand,
Sure.
Jimmy Lake and him, they did great when they was in Los Angeles, and he gave them the opportunity. But as the season progressed, you've seen less and less of Judon really rushing the passer, and you can see the frustration in him. And Jimmy Lake never clicked on that. I think I said it before. During the season, I was like, Jimmy Lake is really going to have to sit down with all his guys and see what's going on. I'm not sure if he did it or not, so I'm not putting words in his mouth, I'm not making stuff up. I just saw nothing changed. Only thing I saw, and I'm not even I don't play football no more, but I can see that only way they're getting pressure is blitting Caden Ellis. Blitting Caden Ellis. Blitting Caden Ellis. Beating Caden Ellis. I'm like, God, but Kalen was loving it, but I'm looking like as an outside guy, I want more opportunities to rush the passer, and they definitely was dropping them more than they probably should have.
No, certainly. I think you're right now. Finding the right role for all of these guys going into the season, going to be big. Let's see here. We got in the chat, Frisco Gaming. I'm not worried about Nate Ollie. Everywhere he's been, he's turned around the defensive line and brings that juice. Certainly, you've been talking about Nate Ollie up here since we started the show, so a well-earned reputation there. Michael Burke says, I'm concerned about the floor of the D-line, especially against the run. Not enough beef up front with the 245-pound edge rushers. Where's the power? You mentioned a couple of them. There are big guys. I was just inside watching practice there. There's some big dudes in the middle of that D-line.
It's not needed, man. That's one thing I hate, that people think that you need to have a huge D-line. You look at Michael Parsons, he's like 245, man. And you look at Von Miller, he's like, 240, maybe 245. I think my thing was 245 being an edge back. When I came out, I was considered a tweener. My whole career, I always worried about putting on weight, and that's why I got injured so much. People always say, oh, John can't stay healthy. I got a groin injury because they wanted me to play at 260 in New York. And people don't understand, it ain't healthy for your body. I mean, I think Golic understands, as being an offensive lineman or playing a certain position, that weight doesn't feel good on your body. Especially, I'm a fast guy. I'm trying to do all these shake moves and everything, and my belly going this way, my ass going this way. It's tough. And then it's crazy because my last year I got to play outside linebacker, and I played at 242 the whole year. I wreaked havoc. I had 11 and a half sacks, and I had 6 calls fumble in my 14th year. So don't worry about how big a size. If you look at a guy like Aaron Donald, he said he probably played at 260. I mean, come on, and he played interior, so it doesn't matter. So I think when we start worrying about how much, you start worrying about what people look like on the outside, worrying about what they play like the inside.
All right, well, that's great advice. You want guys playing at the weight and in the style that makes them feel the best.
Exactly.
Because when they're comfortable, good results follow, as clearly indicated by your career and what you were able to do. All right, let's talk about something interesting. We mentioned it before here on BR NFL Training Camp Live. We always predict the schedules. We're still going to get to that here in a little bit. But we have a rare opportunity to talk about something that we have not done in any other training camp show so far. Kicker contest. We got a kicking battle right now in training camp here. Younghoe Koo has been the man, one of the most accurate kickers in NFL history until last year. Dealt with a little bit of injury, wasn't a guy that necessarily had that same kind of production. And so they brought in Lenny Craig, who was, my understanding, we were talking before, you actually got exposed to him before in the International Pathways program here. So they brought him in as competition here, featured in that program, a soccer player turned football player. What do you make of the fact that this is a competition now with the guy in Younghoe Koo who's been a fan favorite and a franchise stalwart for so long here?
I want to bring something that I said in the past back, and it's going to sound really stupid, but I love it, and I'm going to use it again because we had a quarterback that had number 9 before. We had Penix, and I said the old Dolly Parton song, 9 to 5. So you got to work from 9 to 5, but I believe this team has to work from 9 through 5. So you got to start with 5, which we just seen Drake just left. Then you got to come with 6. 6 is Koo. Last year, if you watched any of the games, Koo was not Koo. And we know he played through injury, just like I guess one of the quarterbacks did also. But not having Koo is going to be very hard for fans. Not really hard for the team, but hard for fans because they're used to seeing Koo and they love saying Koo. And I think people don't understand what fan favorites do for an organization and stuff like that. And but I guess the new guy, it was funny to me because when I came to IPP this year, it's like my second or third year going into it. I went to Dom, who's the guy that's running it right now. Like, Dom, how the rushers looking? Because I always go there to look at the rushers. He's like, the rushers. Hey, John. the kickers. The kickers are kicking. He said, the kickers we have, the kickers are, he said, they just went to the draft and they just, like, and then I was just start hearing all this roar about it. And then I found out that he got signed here, and he is one of those guys that you can only see progression. At 23 years old, you're obviously looking for a young guy that can give you 7 to 10 years of just great kicking. So it's according to how it goes, man. And I would be proud to have either one of the guys, but, not having Kua is going to be something different if he doesn't end up getting the job.
So far through camp, it sounds like Younghoe Koo has been having the edge in that competition. But to your point, specialist in the NFL is a fascinating process, having buddies that have gone through it either as kickers, as long snappers. Those are really one of 32 jobs. It's not like you have depth at those positions the way you do a lot of others. So you get a lot of guys that have to bide their time, wait for that opportunity. And the IPP, the International Player Pathway program, that's gone on, has created some great opportunities, some big names that we've seen around the NFL. But the international kicking, between the punters and kickers, I don't feel like there's a single college punter that's not an Aussie anymore. And so having these guys go from soccer to kicking is always a really interesting task. But that, an important thing, like you said, around here, anytime you got a guy whose name you can say where it's the announcer goes, those aren't boos, they're coos, that's hard to lose for a fan base because you get that cheer. So that's a big part of this camp here. All right. I think it's about time we do the schedule prediction here. We got people in the chat fired up. Kua's our guy. He's going to be back in full swing, but competition's always good. We appreciate that. We love competition around here. We also love picking games. So I know we're putting you in a tough spot, John. It's a team that you've called home. You called this place home for a long time, but we know the chat always loves this one, so we got to feed the meter. We got the Falcons 2025 schedule up for you here right now. We're going to go game by game and pick the schedule and see what kind of record we wind up with for this season. So you already kind of scouted this out, mentioned some of who we got coming up here. Let's start week 1. Right in the division. Tampa Bay has won the division the last 2 years. Looked really good with Baker Mayfield. What do you think goes down week 1?
Okay, let me speak first of all as a fan. I think we're gonna go 17-0.
Yeah.
Plus the bye week, it might be 18-0. That's always a win. So if y'all don't know about football, bye week is always a win. So your team never is gonna go like undefeated. Like they're always gonna win a game. But Tampa Bay is gonna be kind of scary. I think last year we played well against them, but we're not having Kirk. Kirk is not going to be the quarterback. He played exceptionally well against them. Being with that Baker is becoming Baker now. He's actually playing well. At the end of the year, he played exceptionally well. Mike Evans, like I said, looking like Drake London. This is going to be tough, but it's at home. So I think with the NFC South, the home teams are going to have the advantage. I think the only team I'm certain we're going to whoop twice is the Aints, because the Aints have no personality this year. I don't know what their coach Kellen Moore thinking. He took a job just to take a job. You should have waited, bro, because I like Rattler because he's a Gamecock, whatever is that going. But besides that, I don't talk about the Aints. So you can put 2 wins already for the Aints. So you got Tampa. Since it's at home, I'm gonna give us the edge on that. I think it's gonna be. I think we're going to start off kind of slow, but I think that game we're going to take that.
All right.
Right now we're 3-0.
So a dub week 1, and then you can go and put wins already next to the Saints games there.
On the Aints already.
He is saying sign, seal, deliver on that, and I tend to agree. I think it could be a rough year for the Saints. Three-way quarterback battle going on for them right now for a team that has been paying off one credit card with another for a very long time.
I love how it says no. Okay.
no win is what John Abraham is saying for this season for them.
Okay,
so, all right, let's get to week 2 on the road at Minnesota. Young quarterback there, J.J. McCarthy, who's played no games going into this season, but a great roster around it. What do you think?
I think the exceptions for J.J. McCarthy are very overrated right now. I think they had a great quarterback and let him go a little too early, and Darnold. But this game, because it's at Minnesota, that's the only thing that messed me up with our team, because I'm not sure if we can travel and win this year. I haven't seen Penix yet, so I really don't know until after the Washington game if I can say how great or good our team is going to be. But I'm gonna give this to Minnesota.
All right, you know what?
I'm gonna give this to Minnesota because it's a home game and it's tough to play in someone's home game.
Completely agree. That's an incredible home environment there. That defense, Brian Flores has playing with their hair on fire. Going to be tough for any unit in football. Week 3, on the road, Carolina. Bryce Young, resurgent at the end of last year. They spent a lot of money on that offensive line that seemed to pay off for them. What do you feel like that matchup looks like for them against the 2025 Panthers?
Should be a cakewalk. Let's go into Carolina. Let's take these Tigers by the tail and wag them around. I don't really care about the Panthers. I'm sorry. The division games are tough for me to talk about, but I definitely think it's going to win. Bryce Young is a very small kid. I'm sorry, in life, and we got these guys coming around this corner this year, and I'm sorry, we upgraded, baby. So y'all got to get ready for that. And Carolina, I'm not saying y'all going to be good. Y'all got running back by committee, whatever y'all want to do. Y'all got an old receiver in there to feed him. I don't know if he's still there or not. Don't really care. We coming.
Man, I tell you what, this is so refreshing. We've done a few of these shows right now, and the former players are very deferential. Once we got into the division, I saw the play like you were down in the stance on third down the minute I lined the division teams up for you.
Automatic.
Automatic. All right, Washington, the last place we were at on this training camp tour before we got out here, at home against the Commanders, who are fresh off an appearance in the NFC Championship last year.
Well, I think I'm hoping Jaden Daniels has that sophomore slump. He's been a great quarterback. He might not have his top receiver this year. I think they might sign him. You know how it is, but how they're doing it, them in Dallas, I don't know why they play with money like that. Just pay the guys y'all got to pay. Make
Terry
them happy.
McLaurin, man, get him back in.
These games, this gave me anxiety last night. I couldn't sleep just because of this, because I was like, I can see us winning all, but I got to be realistic in saying that it's going to be it's in Atlanta. Give us that game.
All right, there you go.
Give us that.
I felt like you wanted to get there. I was going to tell you, say what's on your heart. Your heart is a win there. So we get the win in week 4. The bye week, that's a win right there. We love that. Win the bye week. And a well-timed bye week, because then you come back and at home, you get the Buffalo Bills. Now, this one, a lot of people's pick for a Super Bowl favorite in the AFC alongside teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs. So Josh Allen, last year's MVP. What do you think about that one?
Give me a tie. Give me a tie. It's going to be the first time we tie. I don't know if we're doing an overtime game. I think this is going to be one of the games that we prove what kind of team we are. They're coming into Atlanta, and I'm sure with we got they're cutting the grass in the background. I'm sure with Jeff Ulbrich coming in and having that ability to play against them twice a year last year, I'm thinking he got more things in store than we can think of. I think people forget about that. You know, we actually grabbed him in a good situation. But, I think we're going to play better than people think. I can't really say win or loss on this game because I think it's going to be one of those great games that we're going to see.
All right, well, I did not even know we had the tie thing in there to put up on the graph. You're the first person to pull that lever on this training camp tour. Set the tone here. All right, a tie against Buffalo. As a fan of silly things that happen in sports, I would love to see a tie week 6. All right, week 7 on the road, San Francisco. Bijan went out there, was working with CMC, who they're hoping is back to full speed this year. Win or loss, we're tied in this game.
Let's give us a win. I think our D-line is going to come through. I think with the quarterback getting all that money now, having the kid on the offseason, he's going to be tired. He gonna be tired. We got these young dogs. We got these young dogs around here that are trying to get paid still. They stay, like, even though they their rookie year, we got and you got to understand, the old boy's going back to see his old team. Leonard Floyd's going to see his old team. So all this stuff is some good things that's going to go on. I think that they're going to have a lot more. They're missing Deebo Samuels, another Gamecock that I love too. So we got to see if they're going to be okay. Is CMC going to be the same guy he was? Is a Root going to come back and be a great receiver again? We don't know this yet. And besides that, Kettle's getting a little long in the tooth, as they say. It's a lot of stuff going on. We got a young team and we're ready to play, so let's see.
That's a great call. I had not heard that. Usually people go the dad strength route when you have a kid. You're saying, no. He's up late at night. He's changing diapers. He's doing feeding.
Yeah, man.
All right. Hey, you know what, Brock? Congrats on all the good news here. Really Unfortunately, you're going to have to hold this L, according to John, in Week 7. Week 8, Miami. They seem like they're going through it right now. Every time I see Mike McDaniel at the podium, that man's stressed. I saw the other day, he said it's a great day because we're one step closer to dying. So I don't know what's happening down there, but what do you think happens in this game?
I'm just tired of watching that team, man. That team, I don't know what's going on with them, man. If Tua can stay healthy, if he's still around by week 8, I think it'll be a very competitive game. But I think that I think Raheem is going to have them pretty much in tune with beating this team. I think Zack is going to I don't see a lot of good things on their defense now. They got rid of one of their best players and everything, and I just don't see them being that kind of squad. Like you said, they're kind of not. They're not arranged right or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's kind of like every week you're hearing, you know, you got Ty just out here saying this, the quarterback's not saying much, or he's saying that people got to apologize. Just too much going on in their organization right now.
A lot of drama in South Beach. You mentioned Tyreek Hill says I'm out last year. Tua says he's got to come back and prove himself. The whole secondary is gone. Jalen Ramsey's in Pittsburgh now. Everyone else, unfortunately, has gotten hurt there. So Miami, it could be a long season in South Beach for them. I'm interested in this one. Week 9 at New England. Drake May showed a lot last year in really adverse circumstances. Mike Vrabel back there as the head coach now at his alma mater. What do you think about this one?
Cold weather. You playing in the dome, and now you're playing outside. Right around week 9, it get cold outside. I think it might be one of those games that kind of like a trap game. One of the games that you feel like you should win but both of them are kind of two inexperienced teams that we think about. The coaches are new to the teams. You know, even though this is Raheem's second year coming up, it's still like new to the team. You still got new players that you got in positions that you need to see. So I think this will be one of the games that it goes kind of back and forth. But I think New England might end up taking this just because we got too many wins right now. I don't like we got so many because New England might sneak up on them.
All right, there we go. You know what? Every once in a while, trap game or something like that. I saw some people in the chat saying Miami could be one of those trap games just because the offense is explosive. But I'm with you. I think New England's going to be a really interesting team this season. On the road, back-to-back road games. Indianapolis with the Colts. Anthony Richardson doing a quarterback battle right now in camp there with Daniel Jones from New York, who came over on a deal this year. What do you think?
I'm not impressed by their quarterback play, and I don't think they did much on their defense, to really bolster it. So I think this should be I don't like saying cakewalk, but this should be an easy win for the team by the end. But going through, this will be 10 weeks in, going into the 11th week, going against Indy. I think this should be a game that shows if they're a playoff team or not. This should be the game to kind of put them in, okay, we're ready to win, we're ready to do this. This should be, we can see what kind of squad he is. Bijan should have about 1,000 yards by now.
Yeah, Bijan will already be in the midst of that all-pro campaign for this season. All right, another division game, Week 11, back at home against Carolina. I'm assuming I know the answer to this.
See, these are the kind of games that, because Carolina probably going to get better also.
Got it.
And this might be another trap game for me because it's Week 11. And I think we might be sitting at probably like 8-3, like I said, the tie game or something like that. 8-3, maybe 8-2 or something like that. And Carolina can come in and sneak it if they have the opportunity to. So I'm gonna give them the loss, even though I feel like it's a win.
All right, a loss there. Sandwich between, you got the win already on the road in New Orleans. We already wrapped that one up, so they're going to go to the Dome and handle business. Revenge game for Jeff Ulbrich going back to New York with the Jets on the road. No Aaron Rodgers this year. Justin Fields survives an early training camp, toe getting stepped on. Do you think that the Jets are anything you guys have to worry about this year?
I think after the New Orleans win, it might be a setup game also. I just have a lot of Justin Fields, to me, I think is going to play very well this year. I think he's finally going to get a year that he can, relax and play football. He got a nice contract from them. So I think this can be one of the years, and I think this could be one of the losses that we take just because it's at New York. I think I know playing in the Dome myself, and we had to go to those cold cities like going to Green Bay and going to places like New York. It changes. It definitely matters like when you have those outdoor games like that.
Nope, it's a great reminder, especially growing up in the Northeast. You played out there. That is nothing to joke around with. So that an interesting one there. Let's see what the chats had to comment on any of these. Bryce Young orders a Happy Meal win. That's harsh but fair. Bijan will track close to 2,000 yards this season. Let's go. Again, 1,800 total yards last season, scrimmage yards. So definitely well within reason there. Home against the Seattle Seahawks. What do you like here?
It's a home game. And Seattle, I don't know what Seattle's doing this year. I've looked at and I really don't. Mike, I'm not even being funny. I don't know what Seattle's doing this year. I don't know.
No more Geno Smith, Sam Darnold comes to town.
The receivers are gone. I'm like, who's going to be the guy that we're going to really like look upon. I think this is a game we should win, and I think this game they will win. I think this is one they will win. I know they got a new quarterback, but I think he was better where he was before compared to he is now.
Yeah, that could be one of those situations for the Vikings and the Seahawks where grass maybe not always greener depending on what goes on this year. Hell of a defense from Mike McDonald, but that offense has some questions they got to answer. 2 road games here. Tampa Bay, we're back right off. Start of the season with the Bucs with a win at home. How do you feel about the road tandem?
In Tampa, I think Tampa's going to win.
Okay.
I think Tampa's going to win. I think by then Baker should be Baker. Mike Evans is going to have another 1,000-yard season. And I think, that the wins and also the traveling, because you travel so much and going to the game. You see how many games we got in New Orleans, then you got versus you come home from, then you got 2 more. You got 4 games in 5 weeks. So that's a lot on, that's just a lot on your body. Like even going to Arizona, I think it could a possible loss because it's another travel game. You're traveling to Tampa, then you're traveling again to Arizona. So people don't understand how that travel really messes with your physical and messes with your mental.
That really is amazing. 5 road games in 7 weeks in the back half of this season. So a definite challenge there. So the loss on the road at Tampa. And then the Cardinals. Kyler Murray and company trying to turn things around there under Jonathan Gannon. Another road game like you mentioned late in the season. What happens?
And I think that might be another loss just because of where it is. I think just because they have to go to Arizona and people don't understand the time difference, whether you're playing at 1, now you're playing at 4. The whole way you prep for a game or the season and anything like that, the time changes really mess you up. And I think if we're just looking at the thing, look how many away games that's just like away, home, away, home, away. That takes a lot out of you, man. Just to travel, even trying to find what suit or what outfit. You know how they are with their outfits now. They want to wear they got to make sure their outfit look good. So.
I know we brought the pregame tunnel fits from the NBA over to the NFL now here, the fit checks.
Right, man.
Definitely taking up a lot of the bandwidth for these guys. All right, so we've already got New Orleans penciled in for the Week 18. So I'm counting right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins and a tie. So the question here, Week 17, home against the Los Angeles Rams, another team, I think third best odds to win the NFC right now going into the season. Matthew Stafford still hasn't thrown a pass in live drills in camp at this point, dealing with some back soreness. Do the Falcons get win number 10 here?
Definitely do. I think he's going to come back to Georgia and just choke up.
Ooh.
And I think by then the defense will be that defense that we think it is. And even before, like, we did this right here in my mind, I thought between 9 and 11 wins for what we'll have this year. And I think that's pretty much what it is for me. I think that at home is going to be our big thing. Yeah. That's where Bijan plays better. That's where everyone's comfortable. It's no trips. You got to worry about getting tickets. You ain't got to worry about all this other stuff. And like just the back end is just how many away games they have stacked together is ridiculous to me.
No, seeing that laid out, when you pointed that out, and you see it laid out the way we have it on the screen here, it is a good reminder. That's something to consider for everyone when you're looking at this season. That's a daunting stretch in the back half of the season, a bunch of division games built in there. But ultimately, 10-6-1 on the season would be a heck of a second year for Raheem. It's having a second year for Michael Penix Jr. taking over for this team. And in the NFC, that's got you in wild card contention. In a division, the NFC South, that we know has been up for grabs every year.
Yeah, it was 10-7 last year. The NFC South ended up, Tampa Bay ended up winning 10-7. They could have easily, Atlanta should have easily won it last year. They started off on the great, and then in the back end, it just fell off. This could easily change. Because, with injuries, with certain things that goes on with teams, so we can easily be like a 9-11 or 12 team easily.
Especially like you talked about with the upside and the youth on defense. Going to be very excited to watch this fall. It's been awesome being out here today. Thank you to everyone in the chat who showed up with us along the way, all your questions, comments. It's been a ton of fun talking with you guys. John, talking with you, there's been a real pleasure, man. Great visiting with you out here. I know, I wish we could have had the fans out here because I'm sure people would have been excited to see you, but it was great hanging out here today with you. We appreciate it, man.
Oh, man, thanks for having me, man. Anytime. Bleacher Report, I'm looking for a job. No, I'm joking.
Hey,
I am, though. But
listen, I feel like we need to call this guy. Not that my opinion means much around here, but I think just a free word of advice might be a guy you want to get in here. Again, guy can do a lot of things, not just sacking the quarterback. So Very excited for that. This has been a ton of fun on the training camp tour. We've got a lot of great videos continuing to go up in the Bleacher Report app. Make sure you check that out there. Check out the YouTube channel for tons of great content coming up the rest of this football season. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you guys soon.